thank you, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Svma speaker series. Today, we are going to be talking with the good folks over at Garner Products. Going to be talking about some comprehensive secure data destruction. So we'll start off with a couple quick introductions. So Michelle and Justin, turn it over to you guys for some self-introductions.
Hello, Michelle Stofan. I'm Vice President of Garner Products. I'm also the Treasurer of Sacramento Valley Manufacturing Alliance, SVMA, and I'm a member of the Northern California World Trade Association. As well as being Vice President of Garner, I'm a practicing attorney, and I do all the legal work for our company, which really comes into play as we talk a little bit more about our product line and liability and the need for really protecting and securing your data and making sure that you do not have any kind of data breaches when it comes to end-of-life decommissioning of your hard drives.
I'm Justin Stofan. I'm third generation here at Garner Products. I'm currently an account manager. I've done all the positions here. Started working in our machine shop, moved into production, started doing purchasing. That led me to help in technical support with my prior knowledge in production and in the machine shop, knowing how our equipment's built. From there, I moved into sales, and that's where I currently am as an account manager. I've been here for been an account manager for about 2.5 years now. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you. And my name is Mark Bellows. I'm a principal with CLA, Quick & Larson Allen. We're a professional services firm with offices throughout the U.S. I'm actually in the Roseville office. We do public accounting, auditing, tax services, outsourcing, that sort of thing. So, and we work with a lot of manufacturing businesses throughout the U.S. Actually, have over 7,000 that CLA works with, and you know, locally we've got a team here that works with a number of manufacturers, and so it's always been kind of a interest of ours, and certainly something an industry that we've been involved with for a while. And I appreciate, Jeff, you asking me to moderate this. We did this pre-COVID live. And unfortunately, like everyone else's life nowadays, we're doing this during COVID, if you will, on Zoom. But hopefully this is the tail end of things. And one of these soon will be live again, and we'll be able to interact, you know, professionally and see each other face to face and share a cup of coffee or a drink or whatever the case may be. So the agenda today is we're going to have Michelle and Justin kind of go into some more details about what Garner actually does. They've got a great presentation set up for us, so looking forward to seeing that. Then I'm going to do kind of a moderated interview for a period of time, and then we'll leave the last 20 minutes or so for question and answers from the audience. Feel free to use the chat feature, the chat function here. We'll be checking that. And that's a good way to do questions. And then also, like I said, when we get to the last 20 minutes, we can open up people's, you know, unmute people so they can actually ask questions live as they need or as they feel like they would want to. So some options there. Okay, so here we go. Michelle and Justin, turn it over to you guys. We're looking forward to seeing what you're going to do here and learn more about Garner.
I'll go ahead and give you just a little bit of background about Garner. We've been in business since 1959, manufacturing data security equipment. The company was actually started by my father-in-law in his garage in Sacramento. And as my husband grew up and became more active and involved in the company, he actually ended up purchasing the company from his parents and taking it from a smaller business that was just servicing. We see, am I still good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Servicing more of a local community. He was a radio engineer here with a local station, and he felt that there was this need to erase the pre-recordings on the reel-to-reel tapes, so that way that there wouldn't be any kind of noise or sound left over when they re-recorded that in that new messaging. And so he created the first commercial degausser. My husband then took the degausser and had it evolve as technology evolved. First, it was to erase VHS tapes, beta tapes, floppy disks, and then now with hard drives and computers, we have beefed up that technology so that it actually erases all the data that is contained on hard drives in about 1/10 of a second. And it's the only way to securely eliminate all of the data on a hard drive before that hard drive is then disposed of or recycled. we do all of our manufacturing of our products here in our facility, which is in Roseville. We actually have an engineering department which designs all of our product line, a machine shop that takes raw material and turns it into the parts that make up our equipment here. Those parts are then sent across the parking lot to our production facility where they build our products from the ground up. We do all of our own coil winding here, build our harnesses, build all the sub-assemblies, package up the equipment, and then we ship it out all around the world. We sell domestically through dealers and then internationally through distributors. We have distributors in Singapore, Germany, Japan, UK, India, Australia, and Canada. And it's with the assistance of these distributors that we were actually recognized in 2019. We received the President's E Award. We flew to Washington, DC, where we were presented with the award, and then had just a really fantastic personal experience where they took us on a private tour of the Vice President's office and the US Department of Commerce. And it was just a really phenomenal day. So this little company of 27 employees has managed to accomplish some pretty monumental tasks. Like I said, our products are all around the world. Our customers are any type of a company that has a IT department. And so really that's everybody. We have NSA listed equipment. That means it's been evaluated by the National Security Administration and has been approved for the erasure of top secret information. So our equipment is actually on the Navy's 7th Fleet. We are in Customs and Border Patrol facilities, US embassies around the world. We also are in data centers around the world. Amazon, Microsoft, Oracle, all of their facilities house our equipment, or our equipment is used in their facilities to erase end-of-life magnetic media. And we also have smaller companies, local companies. There's Jelly Belly VSP here in Sacramento has our equipment in their data centers. So healthcare institutions, banking institutions, again, any kind of an institution or facility that has an IT department uses our equipment. I had the pleasure of getting to go to the New York Stock Exchange, getting a tour of their communication department and installing our equipment in their IT facility. So it's been quite the exciting ride for us professionally. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Justin, and he's going to give you a demonstration of our equipment.
How's it going? So what we manufacture here at Garner is hard drive degaussers and hard drive destroyers. A degausser that creates a magnetic field that actually will demagnetize the computer hard drive. So all the data that is on your hard drive, so all the ones and zeros, that is being held onto the drive with by a magnetic field. And so when it goes through our degausser, which takes about 3 seconds for a cycle, so it's very fast. Once it goes through, it is demagnetized, and so that is end of life for a computer hard drive. So you can't reformat the hard drive, you can't reuse it, you can't take the platters out, put in another hard drive to try to make it work again. It's dead. There's no more magnetic field. So then at that point, you can either recycle or dispose of it however your company or you would like to. So this is a hard drive degausser here. What we also manufacture is hard drive destroyers. So this is our PD5, our physical hard drive crusher. This unit puts out over 10 tons of force, and it can crush two standard hard drives at the same time, and it will bend it up in the shape of a taco, kind of actually exactly like this drive right here. Don't know if that's it would be seen. So that was once a flat hard drive and no longer is. And so that is our solution for magnetic media, which is just your standard hard drives with the rotational disks. We also manufacture a solution for solid state drives, such as cell phones, USB thumbsticks, solid state drives out of your laptop or your computer, and other media like that. And so what we manufacture for that is our Ssd Destroyer. And so for solid state media, that needs to be physically destroyed. And so that is example, crushing or shredding. So what we do is we actually manufacture this product here in-house. This is our solid state destroyer, and you can see the teeth inside. So this is a demonstration model where we have it cut away so you can actually see the teeth. Usually it's protected by the front lip, which will look like that normally. And so when the springs compress on the inside here, it will actually reveal the teeth. So you go ahead and put your cell phone or your other solid state media that you're wanting to destroy, you have to put it inside there, and it goes inside of our PD5. So you're going to crush your cell phone with 10 tons of force. And so it will completely penetrate, puts 90 spikes through the top and the bottom, ensuring that all your solid state chips inside of your media are destroyed. And so from there, then you can recycle it. Another thing we manufacture here in-house is our Iron-Clad System. And so what this does is this actually works with our degausser and our destroyer to actually create a complete certificate of destruction or an audit trail. Say if you need to, say if we were to come do a destruction service, because that's another thing we do. So we will come on site to your location and we will destroy your hard drives that you have either laying around in closets or in your drawers, or if they're in a secure media waste bin. So we'll come on site. We will use our Iron-Clad system, which will actually take a picture of the hard drive. It scans the serial number of the hard drive, and it will also record all that data in a nice exportable PDF document that will, it's always backwards when I go to do it, that will export into a certificate of erasure and destruction. And so on there, you'll see pictures of the hard drive before and after it was destroyed. It has the serial number, the date and the time it was destroyed, and who did it. So that's pretty neat that you can have somebody hold somebody accountable to destroying your media. So if you were to get audited on about where a hard drive went, so if you're trying to find it, and then you can go ahead and search this document here and say, oh, that's right, we destroyed it on May 25th, 2019. So I can actually give you a quick little run through of a demo here of how our equipment works. So we have I'm going to turn the equipment on. It's going to be a little bit loud or it might be a little bit loud because it has fans. So beware the headphone users. So with our degausser, it has a 3-second cycle time. So I'm going to start off first by scanning the serial number of the hard drive, which is on the bottom of this hard drive right here. I'm going to go ahead and hit next on our Iron-Clad display. And it's prompting me to put the hard drive inside of our HD3 degausser. So I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to go ahead and drop it on inside. You'll hear a thump. That's it. Your hard drive is just degassed. That's how quick it takes. Slides out. I'm not sure if you can see the screen, but you'll see a picture of the hard drive will actually appear here. And so that's actually it taking a picture inside of this chamber. And the hard drive will show up on the screen, and it will be asking if this is a good picture. As for some reason, if it was blurry, we put the hard drive in upside down, so where you can't see the serial number. In this case, it's a good picture. And so we're going to go ahead and hit accept. And it's going to slide on out. From here, we're going to have another pop-up that's going to say, please insert hard drive into the PD5, because we're doing 2-step destruction. So we're going to go ahead and open it up, put the hard drive in, close the drawer, and the wedge is going to start coming down. So again, this takes roughly about 15 seconds, and you'll hear the pop. And so this is exerting 10 tons of force. Definitely more than enough to crush your hard drive. From there, our Iron-Clad display, once you open the door, our Iron-Clad display will show you an overall picture of what you just did. So it will tell you who did it, the serial number of what I just destroyed. It will let me know it was degaussed, and it will actually tell me how strong the magnetic field was that the degausser put out. So in this case, it was 10,210 Gauss, and so that's a good number for this unit. And it was destroyed with the PD5, and it actually tells you how far down the wedge went once it hit resistance. And so in this case, this was a 24 millimeter crush. And so So that's basically a quick run through of how our equipment works and how that is. So I can also show you the magnetic fields. Oh, I'll turn that off. There you go, so it's a little bit better. I have a little demonstration here as well. I'll show you what a magnetic field actually looks like on a hard drive platter when it's exposed, so you can actually see what you're degaussing or getting rid of here. I'm gonna go ahead. So here I have two hard drive platters. This platter here is a degaussed hard drive platter, and this drive here, this is a drive that has the magnetic field exposed. And so the way we were able to do this was with a magnetic force microscope. It was able to come in here and take so with a magnetic force microscope, is able to come in here and take a look at the actual magnetic field, but we were able to expose it with a solution called Ferrofluid. And so what it is actually magnetic particles that come in here and they adhere to the hard drive. So you can see all those little lines. Sometimes if it will, there we go. So in between all those lines is data. That's your ones and zeros. So once it's been degaussed, once a hard drive is degaussed, it will no longer have those ones and zeros, and it will just be a shiny hard drive platter. So, and another cool demonstration is that I also have a credit card here. So with this credit card, as you know, like a hotel room key, that's actually what this is. It's magnetic. So when you're at a hotel and they tell you not to put your cell phone or your hotel room key too close to your cell phone, because it will demagnetize it, that's exactly what we're doing here with our degaussers, but on a much larger and more powerful scale. So I have exposed that magnetic field here with that ferrofluid, and that's all those little lines there. So yes, and so you might ask, why not just shred a hard drive? Why degauss it and then crush it? So the reason you would like to degauss a hard drive is because I actually have a shredded hard drive right here. So this is a hard drive that's been shredded and it looks pretty beat up. So if you had, say, sensitive data, depending what company or who, nevertheless, the reason, if you just had sensitive data, somebody wanted that, they could take that hard drive to a data recovery company, and they would actually be able to pull data off of that hard drive that's been through a shredder. If you were to do that to a hard drive that's been degaussed, that would not be possible because you eliminated that magnetic field that pulled off, but you just removed the magnetic field, so there's nothing left for the data to adhere to. Anything else that you have to add?
A really interesting story that kind of brings this all to light is, remember when the Space Challenger burned up on reentry, and it had a hard drive in it. That hard drive went through reentry, on fire, burned up, actually then plummeted to the earth and was buried in a lake bed for over the hard drive for over 6 months. They were able to locate that hard drive, retrieve it, and even though it had been severely deformed and had been exposed to elements, and they were able to retrieve 99% of the information that was contained on that hard drive. So people think their data is secure when they've had it shredded, and actually this—
Or take a hammer to it.
Yeah, or they take a hammer to it, put a drill press through it and drill a couple of holes. That deformation, though, only affects the actual media housing. It does not affect the data that is on that drive. And it's only with degaussing that you can actually fully eliminate that information. The NSA actually has a standard of 2 millimeter shred, which is a particle size that is the thickness of a lead of pencil or a grain of rice. That is what the NSA requires top secret information to be shred to in order to make it less retrievable. But what's very interesting is even the 2 millimeter shred particle of hard drive can contain thousands of pages of documents if it were in written form. So technology is advancing very, very quickly. And the only secure way that the NSA allows for any of their information to be disposed of is first to be degaussed, and then they do the physical deformation of the hard drive in order to verify that it's gone through its process. So that's why we have this two-step process for hard drives. Being an attorney, I recognize how important it is for everybody to be doing at least the absolute minimum to keep themselves safe, to keep the information confidential of their customers, and then also to limit their own liability and exposure. We have not only NSA level degaussers, which is our top of the line. This here is a high volume degausser with a 3-second time cycle, but we have a smaller tabletop unit, which has a 7-second cycle time. It's an economical degausser. And all of these can be used in any kind of an office environment. They're designed by our engineering team to be quiet, safe. There's no magnetic field that goes outside of the chassis here of the hard drive. And so they can be used in any kind of an environment to make sure that that data is secure.
Yeah, you can actually say something that has a very low coercivity level. So what I'm saying with that is basically it can be degaussed very easily. So if you were to take a magnet, like I said with this credit card here. So if you were to take a magnet or next to your cell phone, if it was to demagnetize it, our degaussers are so well shielded. I could put this on top of the degausser and I could run cycles all day and this would not be demagnetized because our magnetic field is focused to the center of the coil that's inside of our unit. So it's very safe. You can be right next to it while it's degaussing and it puts out, it's not harmful to the body at all. So it's pretty neat technology.
One of the other reasons why we have created so many departments within this company is so that we can be really responsive to our customers' needs. We do a lot of custom modification of our units. We listen to our customers, come up with this cart that our unit is on. It's a mobile degaussing cart because it's essential that you shorten that gap in time between when a hard drive is being decommissioned to when the data is destroyed. All of our equipment can be rolled right up to the media and then used there so that there is no risk of that data escaping its secure environment. After you've done a degauss, you've had the media degaussed, then you can go ahead and shred it or physically destroy it. It's safe for disposal at that point as soon as it has been degaussed. And we are very responsive to our customers' needs. We had a client contact us who was using our equipment in their data center in Ireland, and they had a new helium drive that we hadn't seen before. And it was in a different kind of casing, a forged casing that was very, very strong. And our physical destroyer was actually not being able to break through that casing. Within 2 weeks, we had our engineering team have a prototype that was already built up, crushing that helium drive, modified to be able to crush that drive. And we had a production model out to that customer within 3 weeks of them notifying us that there was an issue. And it's just very exciting to be able to respond so quickly to advances in technology, to changes in our customers' needs, and for us to then be able to design products that meet their needs.
Yeah.
Justin, do you have anything else then on?
No, that pretty much, pretty much covers it.
Well, thank you guys. That was fascinating, Michelle and Justin. Thank you both. That was great to see. Real quick, a quick question that came to mind just as we were watching at the end here. Do you sell your products? Do you lease them, or do you do some kind of both? I mean, what's the typical way that the clients get a hold of your product?
So we actually have a couple of ways we do this. So we're the manufacturer. So we do sell our equipment and we sell, you can come to us direct. We have a large network of domestic dealers here all over the country. Big companies like Synnex, SHI, and stuff like that. But then we also offer services where we can come to your location and basically roll up with this package right here. We'll show up to your place and we can degauss your hard drives on site, whether you have 3 or if you have 3,000. We've gone all over the country, shipped equipment, and we've gone to customers' locations to do jobs like that. And then we also offer rentals. So if you have 100 hard drives and you just want to try it out yourself, you can call us up, and then we will just ship you one of our degaussers. We have many to choose from, degausser and crusher, kind of cater towards your need, whatever you would like. And yeah, so we offer on-site service, rentals, and sales. So, yeah.
One thing I also just wanted to mention too, Justin was talking about how we travel around and we do degaussing services. And we've also actually arranged then at the end of those degaussing services for recyclers to come up and get then the physically destroyed hard drive. The reason why we destroy our hard drives in this manner is because it doesn't create any kind of toxic waste. Shredding does create toxic waste. You cannot then recycle that hard drive because it's been mixed in with all of the various contaminants. By doing this type of a wedge destruction, we now can take this hard drive and still go and recycle it. It also is safe to do in any kind of an IT environment because we are not releasing any kind of
making any dust.
Making dust, creating any kind of hazards into the air. So that's why the data centers really like our physical destroyers being rolled into the actual data center, degaussed, and then destroyed. And then they know they can release it. If they want to have a shredder pull up into the back of their building, they can go ahead and release this thing. And have them destroyed.
Knowing that's been degaussed.
Yeah.
Right. That's excellent. That's great. Thanks you guys for that. That was good information. So the reminder to the audience, the chat function's open. If you have questions, please feel free to put them up there. I'm going to ask you, Michelle, how you got involved with SVMA. I know you know, as you explained, you're definitely involved now, but I'm just curious, like, how did you first get involved with SVMA?
I went to one of the original founding meetings where they had brought a gentleman in from Chico who had created a similar type organization. And it was, I think all the local manufacturers were experiencing the same type of problems with getting a skilled workforce. I was having difficulty filling my positions, especially in my machine shop, to have any kind of a skilled machinist that would, or not even just skilled, but also entry-level machinists. And so SVMA was a whole group of local manufacturers that we all grouped together to help develop a skilled workforce by working with the local school districts, the high schoolers, the junior colleges, and even Sac State and other academic institutions around. And it's been a really great source, not only for me for trying to identify skilled workforce, but also networking with other local manufacturers and using those contacts to help with our own supply chain. That's been really instrumental. I send out an email and within literally 20 to 30 seconds, I get responses from other manufacturers as to resources that and contacts I can reach out to solve problems that I'm having in my particular manufacturing process at the time. So it's been a great organization.
Yeah, you mentioned when we were talking previously about that, that you've been able to, as a result of that networking, fulfill some needs for silk screening and the testing center, that sort of thing, right?
Yes.
So that's been great. And also I think one of the concerns some people had expressed was the potential for, well, maybe that would lead to someone, you know, the partnering could lead to some competition for resources for employees, but you've not experienced that at all.
I have an attitude to where it is very important that we keep skilled workers here in this community. And I think members of SVMA understand that and have that same basic philosophy. You know, we bring in our employees, we train them, we want them to stay with them. And I think through this series, through the relationships I've developed at SVMA, there's also a lot of mutual respect between the owners and the top level of the employees of the various companies. And I think having that kind of communication has been actually very beneficial to retaining our employees and making sure that we all are providing the best work environment as we can for our team members and to retain those. So yeah, that hasn't been as much of an issue. But and that communication also with fellow manufacturers makes sure that we're all being competitive too when it comes to the benefits that we offer and the pay that we offer. There's a lot of sharing of knowledge, and it's for me, it's been incredibly valuable because a small company like ours, we have 27 employees. We don't have all the resources that the larger companies have available to them.
Yeah, so you're able to interact with other manufacturers in the area to get to really work together to grow together, which is great.
Yes.
You'd mentioned a little bit earlier about the about coming together and working with the high schools and the junior colleges and the community colleges and the and for all the other entities and organizations around, which has been great. And tell us a little bit about and there's an article in Comstocks a couple years ago about developing the pre-apprentice boot camp you guys did.
Yes.
Which actually Justin was part of the second class of that. But do you want to tell us a little bit about that? About the class, and I know you hired someone from the first class, so it's brilliant.
Yes, it was a great program that we've had. Unfortunately, COVID has kind of affected the output of it for this last year and a half. But what it is it's a pre-apprentice program where they broadcast that work with the junior colleges and broadcast to the local community, trying to get talent, people who are interested in pursuing a career in manufacturing. And in this case, the programs that we were involved in were specific to CNC machining. And so the first class had about 20 students that completed the 16-week program. We actually hired one of the students who completed that program, and he's been a valuable member of our team. He's been with us now for over 2.5 years. And it really created for him that bug in machining. And he's been instrumental really to the growth of our department. Justin also went through the class too, so that he had, actually, I'll turn it over to you and let you talk about that.
Yeah, so I actually started, while I was going to school, I was actually working here in our shop. We just got a water jet, and so that was the first machine I've ever ran. So started playing around with the water jet, then I started loading machines, kind of went up from there. And then I transitioned to my technical support and sales position, and that was and also doing purchasing. So I was kind of went out of the shop to learn other parts of the company as well. So I kind of lost what I learned before, and so I was able to take this course, and it was like everything just started coming back to me. And so I was able to go out into the shop if the guys needed help. It was a really cool course because you can go there with just an interest in machining, and then they will teach you the fundamentals of it. So you can go around, you can push buttons, you can move the table around, and you actually got to make parts in the program. So that was really neat, and I thought it was very valuable. It was a big refresher for me because, like I said, I used to be in the shop, and I lost all that, and now it got that bug going back in me again, where I'm like, okay, I want to be out there. This is a lot of fun. What am I doing in the office? But,
the other nice thing about it too is Justin now is on the advisory board for Sierra College, and as they are developing their machining programs, he is able to also make contributions as to give them the feedback that they need as they are developing and advancing with respect to what manufacturers are needing from graduates of like in this case, the Sierra College program.
So if any of our audience members or participants here today want to get involved with that, what would be the best way for them to do that? I know you said COVID has kind of restricted things, but I mean, do they get a hold of you, Justin? What would be the best way for people to follow up on this?
Is that if they have employees that they're wanting to put through that program?
Yeah, or either employees, or they just maybe are, as a company are interested in furthering the growth of this kind of apprentice boot camp type thing, and so they're interested in being involved with it as well, on one level or the other, either because of employees or because of being involved.
Anybody can always reach out to either Justin or me, and we can provide you with some more information about the organization in that particular program. Also, Svma does have a website, and on that website, they talk about the various programs that we have available. Dean Peckham is our executive director, and I believe he is on this call.
Yes.
And he is also readily available for anybody who is interested in any kind of SVMA program, work development program, working with any of the schools. We really need manufacturers who are interested in helping to secure that trained workforce. We want people to come into manufacturing as a career and see this for all its glory. I mean, honestly, I'm an attorney. My profession bored me until I got in this job and was able to actually do something that is concrete, and we're creating something that people actually need. I am no longer just like this obstacle to people's growth. I am actually helping to promote and grow businesses. And so for me, manufacturing has just been a very exciting way to live my life professionally. And the opportunities that I see it provides Justin and our workers, our team members, it's very exciting, and we need to bring more people into this industry.
Well, yeah, and so Mike posted that the first apprenticeship orientation is next Tuesday, April 27th. And then Jeff put and this is all in the chat section. Jeff put a link to the orientation tickets, and then Dean put his email up on there. So everyone's participating. That's good. Thank you, everyone. Well, just to touch briefly on that, Michelle, you were just talking about being an attorney and working with the manufacturing. And when we talked before, you mentioned how that has kind of changed your approach a little bit. I mean, you want to talk maybe a little bit about that? I mean, I don't know if approach might be the word you use, but
I actually started out as a prosecutor in the district attorney's office here in Sacramento, and then I went and did insurance work. And as we know, attorneys are very confrontational and adversarial. You're never really trying to come together and solve problems and work together. And so initially when I started working here in our company, even though I was involved in our international growth and development, I still had kind of this mindset of being an adversary. And I recognized that that was not productive. I'm not here to create barriers and obstructions. I'm here to actually grow businesses and bring people together and figure out what is the easiest way that I can contractually solve a problem that meets both sides' needs and bring us together and get this work done. Get what actually we're attempting to accomplish done without having written barriers to it. Right. And so it's just been, incredibly rewarding. Our first international business partner was a Japanese company. And I had actually studied Japanese-US trade and wanted to go into international law. And husband's business here is in Sacramento. Never thought Sacramento would get me practicing international law. And it's just provided tremendous opportunities. And I think people are a little short-sighted when they think about manufacturing opportunities, and they do not realize the potential that is available in all career paths. We have a graphic designer on staff. I have a copywriter on staff. We have sales and customer support, office management, engineering. So there's just a tremendous amount of opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. One of the things that Dean just brought up is maybe if you could talk for a minute, a little bit about both successes and challenges in finding local suppliers.
Justin, did you want to address that? With our chassis and silkscreen might probably be the best.
Company. I can't remember the name now.
Microform?
I think so. Yeah.
We have issues with our silk screening and our chassis, where it's done actually by a Bay Area company, and the time delays and things like that were creating problems with respect to some of our workflow. And SVMA did a tour of a local facility here that does silk screening and also chassis work and bending. We do not paint here, and we do not bend metal. So that's one of the things that we outsource. Right. And I believe it is Microform, but we went and did a tour of their facility and saw that they had these capabilities here. And then we started engaging with them, and now they've taken over all of our silk screening and chassis work. And it's just less than a 40-minute drive for us to go get equipment, load it up, bring it on back, and we're up and running. And so it's been incredibly instrumental. Silk screening, we were also found from SVMA contacts. There was somebody up in,
Grass Valley?
what was that?
Grass Valley, I think.
Grass Valley, that we were using then as a silk screener also. So, and when our CNCs go down, we found mechanics through SVMA resources.
Great. The testing center, have you found a testing center as well? I think you'd mentioned that.
It was for calibrating our testing equipment.
Okay,
And
great.
Found a local testing facility right here in Placerville that we weren't aware of. So, you know, it's just been a great resource. Yeah,
it's great to be able to use it, to use local businesses and partner with them on some of these things if they're available. So one of the things that someone asked was, Dean asked was, do any of your resellers offer data destruction services for individuals and families? You know, so how does an individual safely dispose of their hard drive? I have an example. I had 4 notebook computers when I moved recently. We went through all of our junk into some cupboard, and I had 4 notebooks I just hadn't been using for years and years and years. And so my question was, do I wait for an e-waste day? Is that the smartest thing to do? I mean, so what do individuals and families do, or should we do?
Well, I think the best thing is, now that you know about us and you have that media sitting there in a drawer, just bring it on over to us and we will destroy it right here and then for you.
Also, there's Red Dog Shred, who's in Rockland. They actually have our degaussers. They have shred trucks where they'll go to different companies and just do paper shred day. So you'll see a big red shred truck. And then if you go to their office, they have our degausser, which is our entry-level degausser, which is the one that's a little bit smaller than this. And they can do 1Z, 2Z hard drive. So you just take it in there, they'll degauss it on site, and then they'll properly dispose of it. And they can do that with cell phones. They have one of our hard drive crushers as well. And yeah, so you can take the hard drives out of your old laptops and you can take it to a company like Red Dog Shred, who has a degausser.
So if I've got my iPhone 6 and I'm going to replace it with the new 12 or whatever the latest one is, I mean,
yeah.
You know, Apple is willing to buy it back, or I can maybe sell it on, you know, Craigslist or Nextdoor or something. I mean, should I talk to you guys first?
Our personal opinion is that is never worth that little bit of money that you get to sell something back versus being able to destroy it and know that nobody will ever get that information. A prime example of that is Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley, a huge institution. They do all this effort to protect their data that is at the front end. You know, they have all their cybersecurity protections in place and everything. Well, they hired a service to come in and deal with their media at the end of life. They rolled up their door. The service company came in, took all their hard drives. Morgan Stanley had no idea what was going to be done with that, other than contracting to have it overwritten. Several hard drives actually showed up on eBay and were purchased, and that data was retrieved by some individuals that was clearly tied to Morgan Stanley. So these were their hard drives. Morgan Stanley saved a couple, you know, got a couple hundred, or probably about $5 probably per hard drive when they were being overwritten by this service company. They have been now fined $63 million by as a result of that data breach, and the fallout still is continuing. They have class action lawsuits against them. They have shareholder derivative lawsuits. Executives are being investigated and potentially fired as a result of this, all because of a couple hard drives that they thought they were securely releasing to a company, transferring that liability to a third-party vendor that they thought was going to properly dispose of their hard drives. So it's never worth that risk. You just degauss it first and then turn it over to a service provider if you want to dispose of it. But you don't want those things sitting around in a drawer. They are a ticking time bomb. Yeah, so the degaussing is important. And Jeff put up the website for Red Dog Shred. So nice. People can look at the chat to see that. One of the questions from Jeff was, do you guys, I think you mentioned you have engineers. Who's asking mechanical engineers, design engineers? What types of engineers do you guys employ? We have electrical engineers and mechanical engineers.
Okay. And then do they do R&D on site?
Yes.
Okay. And do they outsource any of that as well, or is it pretty much all done on site? Or is it a
We
combination?
do it all in-house.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. So
All of
that,
our prototyping, everything's been done in-house.
okay. Well, I don't think there's any questions that I've missed yet, is there? If anyone has a question, please put it up there. What else can we talk about here that we haven't talked about? Do people still come to you with VHS tapes or reel-to-reel and say, we need these degaussed?
We actually had a situation where it was a religious organization that had recorded all of, I don't even know exactly what all was on this VHS tape. It filled up an entire warehouse. And they hired us to do a degaussing job of those VHS tapes. This was a few years ago, so we don't really see the VHS tapes all that much. In fact, we've really pretty much modified our equipment to degauss hard drives, but we do still have some of our legacy equipment that are conveyor belt type systems for VHS and beta tape. But those are pretty rare. We don't encounter that media very often anymore. But that equipment is still out there functioning.
Yeah.
And what's really, I think, a testament to our engineering and our manufacturing production, this equipment, this heavy equipment, and we ship it all around the world. This stuff, it has such a low failure rate. In fact, our HD3 degausser is our workhorse. We have units coming back with 300,000 cycles that are just coming back for a cleaning and for an inspection.
Just for inspection.
Because these things are, where they use them, they're pretty dusty environments and stuff. But 300,000 cycles, there are units out there that are 10, 11, 12 years old, still continuing to do their job. So testament to made in the USA.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I just put up the website, but I didn't do a good job linking it, so you can't follow the link, but it's garnerproducts.com. Right, and that gets to your guys' website. And you'd mentioned this before, but Mike had brought it up, so we'll bring it up again. So, thumb drives, you guys can get rid of thumb drives as well, or not get rid of. You guys can clean them up. Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be like this guy. So some thumb drives solid state destruction. So that's when you're gonna use this guy with the teeth here.
Okay.
And so basically for a thumb drive, you go ahead and well, I can use my cell phone because it's the same example. I'm not going to crush it, but
yeah, that's good.
So what you do is you just wrap it up in a sleeve because all the sleeve is a retrieval device. And then you go ahead and you put it on inside of here and put the, I'll go ahead and just run a cycle with this one, but all right, I'll just put it in. But yeah, so you put your SSD inside of here, put it in, close the door, hit destroy, and then the spikes will physically crush physically destroy your solid state drive or your flash drive. So. And you can do that with the little memory cards from your camera. So if you want to get rid of some of those, if for some reason it's not working, you don't want to just toss it, you can do something like that.
So. That's one of really kind of the design miracles of this product, being able to destroy both hard drives and solid state media. And I think is pretty fantastic that you can have something that is the size of a CPU, exert 10 tons of force, and it doesn't destroy itself. This thing runs for thousands and thousands of cycles. We get such few calls on it. We don't honestly even know how many are out there with cycle counts that are in Amazon and Microsoft facilities. It's pretty amazing.
Well, I think that that kind of gets us through all of our questions. So I'm going to give a shot here, you guys, to kind of wrap it up. Maybe if you want a couple of parting thoughts. Again, garnerproducts.com. You can get a hold of Michelle or Justin through the website. There's links to ways to get a hold of you guys. I think you can email, phone you, that sort of thing. So people can follow up with you to get more information about your product, about your services, and just about what you've been doing with Svma and maybe partnering on some of that workforce development. So any last parting thoughts from you guys here?
Those hard drives that you have sitting in a drawer and you don't know what to do with, give us a call. Just bring them out to us. We'll, as long as it's a reasonable quantity, we'll go ahead and take care of them for you so you have peace of mind. If you have larger quantities, give us a call. We'll put our equipment in a vehicle and we'll arrange to come out and do a degaussing service. But don't let that stuff hang around. It is not worth the loss of sleep or the risk of liability to your company. it can be very simply solved.
Well, excellent. Thank you for that, Michelle. And thank you, Michelle and Justin, both of you for being on this today and giving your presentation. Excellent job. Really appreciate it. And Jeff, I think I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Yeah, no, I would like to thank, Justin, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing everything. And then Mark, very grateful for you to moderate. You did a fantastic job. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And if anyone, let's see here.